Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Horse Business podcast. And today we're talking to Evie. Evie is an inspiration, somebody who I met at the London International Horse Show and has gone on to do great things in such a short period of time. In this episode, we're just going to hear from Evie about how her journey has been since we met at London International. Joining me today. We met at London International and I'm so pleased you're here with us today, so it'd just be great to know how things have been going since then. So we met at London, you told me all about Empowered Change, which you'll tell us a bit about in a minute, but in fact tell us about that first.
Yeah, so Empowered Change is basically an organisation, kind of a community setup, which is going to focus on body image and disordered eating within the equine industry.
Wow. And when you told me about this, I could feel the passion at London. We spoke for quite a while at London, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So, no, it was really, really exciting. And then we booked in a call for January. Mm-hmm. What's happened since London?
Yeah, so basically, when we met at London, I literally started the Instagram sort of 10 days-ish, a week, 10 days before. And we were kind of going through it, and I think that conversation was the thing that made me realise how much trajectory Empowered Change might have from more of a business angle, because obviously I'd been looking at it purely from the emotional side. I'd been looking at it from this perception of, oh my gosh, I want to help everyone all at once and how am I going to do it? And oh my, well, wow. And then going from that to kind of take a step back and go, okay, what's the logic to growing this? How am I going to actually manage to grow this in a kind of sensible way where I'm going to be able to build connections, talk to people, kind of get the word out there in a bit more of a professional manner as well. And so I'd started to try and build on the Instagram a lot more between that December to January period. It was quite helpful because obviously I was back home from uni for the for the Christmas holidays, a bit heavy. And so I was back for the Christmas holidays. That allowed me a little bit more time. And then when we met in January, it was very much focusing on kind of the business and the trajectory and how it was going to work, as well as having some feedback on the content that I'd posted in between those two kind of chats, which was really, really good. Mm-hmm. It was definitely a really positive thing.
No, it's great. And to see where the journey you've been on, which we'll touch on in a second, is incredible. So we spoke in January. The main focus of that call was how can you create some kind of monetary income from it to give you more scope to push out more because you wanted to reach more people.
Exactly. I think Empowered Change is never going to be about an income as such, but it's going to be about covering the cost of things like the website or, things like sort of adverts and bits and pieces like that. Because obviously with Instagram and Facebook now kind of shifting their perspective a little bit more, it's a lot harder to get content out there organically. And so you do kind of have to look down the route of ads and bits and pieces like that. And so I think it was definitely really, really positive to learn that it's not necessarily all going to kind of come out of my pocket as such, that there's a way to make it a little bit more almost self-sustaining, if that makes sense. Yeah,
I mean, that would be the most powerful thing for you, because if it's self-sustaining, there's no barrier to you to go and help more people.
Exactly.
And we spoke about different options, and in fact one comment you made was about the fact that there's absolutely no way you wanted to be in front of anyone, wanted to be on videos or even necessarily put your story out there. Have you done any of that?
Yeah, so I've been very lucky that I have the opportunity to go and do a little pitch at one of the universities that mine's partnered with, to apply for a bit of funding, to apply for a bit of mentoring, bits and pieces like that. Other than that, I have been asked into some of the tutorial slots for the 16 to 18 provision that we've got at university, as well as the 16 to 18 provision that we've got at my local college. So I think that's going to be really fun. And then obviously being here.
Yes, you're on camera now.
It's happening. And I think kind of the more I do it, the better I feel about it. So whilst I did start off being sort of dead set against it, I am definitely slowly coming around to the idea.
Yeah, no, and I think that, it's great because actually getting your story out there helps people to resonate with you, which is something I said to you at the time. Mm-hmm. And it's also, building your confidence. You clearly know your stuff. and to get out and speak to other people, you had to start taking those steps, really. Otherwise, you're the best kept secret. So moving forward from, we've met, we've had a conversation, you're now going out to universities. What is your next step for Empower Change?
I think next step is definitely going to be carry on as I am in terms of trying to grow the Instagram audience and bits and pieces like that. Other than that, I have been talking to various people, sort of friends of friends, any commercial events that we have back at college, because I still work there occasionally. So when we have commercial events, I'm very on it with getting out, chatting to people, going through kind of what I do. If there's any way that I can help them, or, I've had conversations with a few competitors where we've been able to sort of say, oh, this is what I do. And they've said, oh, like, that's brilliant. I want my daughter or my son to grow up and sort of see that kind of an image, which I think is a really powerful message to be kind of sending across for sure.
No, brilliant. That's exciting. I'm just so excited to see the growth as we go forward. Have you managed to... In fact, you mentioned about we had the meeting more so because you wanted to find a way of funding it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you've taken part in something which is one step towards that.
Yes. So it's called the Think Big Pitch Competition, which is over at my university. Essentially, you can apply for some funding and you can apply for mentoring, and then it goes through this kind of channeling process where you submit an application, which I think was sort of 1,000 or 1,500 words, something like that, a decent enough amount that I could get my point across. And so I submitted that and then heard back a couple of weeks later that I had been able to get through to their training day, where they sort of give you sort of tips on how to present in front of a crowd, bits and pieces like that. It's not a massive crowd. I think there's only like sort of under 10 people there, but still a bit more than I'm used to. And so we're going to be doing that, which is really fun. And then after that, it's the 26th of March, I believe, is the day where everybody that's been invited to kind of go travels along to Chelmsford, and we will give a big pitch, and basically hopefully somebody might say that they are willing to invest a little bit, or to, if not, give kind of mentoring sessions, and you kind of get assigned a person. It's all a little bit Dragon's Den.
Interesting. No, it's exciting, because that is the step that you wanted to take. It was just finding a way to get the message out there more, and this is a huge step for that.
Definitely. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, no.
I think it should be quite fun. And I'm very lucky that I've been able to take part in a 6-week short course at uni as well, which is the Start a New Enterprise scheme. So it helps you kind of build your business model. You submit it for approval. You kind of go through and you get more of a feedback kind of loop, if that makes sense.
Okay, yes, yeah.
So you get the instructor's the wrong word, lecturer on the course, to kind of give you feedback and talk through what's been going on, and sort of things like, I'll show him the Instagram page and I'll say, oh, what do you think of this? How could I improve it? Whether it's changing hashtags to get different audiences or bits and pieces like that, commenting on different people's posts that look like they might be kind of my target audience as such. So it's definitely been a really positive process. It's very much opened my eyes a bit more than the business GCSE.
Yes, business GCSE and the textbooks only get you so far. Seeing as I studied business GCSE, A-level and university, so textbooks only get you so far.
Yeah, exactly. As much as I enjoyed it, I can't say that there's too much of that information left in me.
No. No. So just to finish off here, what would be one key takeaway that you had from us meeting and having our conversation?
I think the big thing was seeing it as more of a business and less of a sort of emotive movement, if that makes sense. It was definitely looking at it in almost a more well-rounded perspective of a way, looking at it a little bit more pragmatically and saying, okay, I've got X amount of costs to make up to kind of break even. If I want it to be self-sustaining, how do I get there? And doing that kind of thing, which in essence will just make it last longer, because as much as I want to push it out, I am a student. I can't necessarily say that the funds are in my favor. A student with a horse nonetheless, so it does get even harder, really.
Yes.
But I think if we definitely kind of that game plan almost of how to make Empower Change a little bit more sort of self-standing.
Self-standing, fantastic. No, that's been really great. So I'm super excited that we will be doing an episode on this a bit more. But thank you so much for coming back and sharing that. And I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of your journey.
Thank you so much.